earlier. Are are they doing away with the changing the clocks thing? Did I see that in the news somewhere?
Sometime in the future, I think they have sent it to Congress or something, but they got to vote on it. Said it
Uh,
might change one more time. I don't know. I wish they would.
I hope.
yeah,
I
I mean,
hope.
really, right? Hey, what's going on?
What
Good to
about
see you,
you,
Coach
man?
Steve.
Sorry I'm late.
It's all right, man. Hey, everybody needs a nap every now and then, Coach Steve. It's all right, man. Is that
It is
what is
what
that
it
what it
is.
was?
No, it's getting over my daughter's baby shower yesterday.
Oh wow.
And we got a house full of stuff and moving stuff around.
Oh
And
jeez.
I just put some food in the microwave to warm up, and I look and I go, oh shit, it's 7 o'clock. So here
Yeah,
we are. Here we are. How's
that's
everything?
all right. Yeah, everything's good. We're just hanging out. We were just talking a little bit about life. We were solving life's mysteries
There
while
you go.
you were away.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
good to see Ricky here. It's been a minute since we've seen Ricky, and it's good to have you back, man. It's
It
good to
is.
have you here. What have you been up to? Anything you want to tell us? Any stories?
I ain't really got no good story to tell.
Yeah, all
I'm
right.
gonna try
Yeah,
to get
I
back
don't
on this call thing y'all got going on.
either. Yeah, that's exciting. The whole call lab thing every
Yep.
day. Yeah,
So
that's
you're doing that now 5 days a week?
oh yeah, 5 days, Monday through Friday.
So is that
Couple,
early? What, before you?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It would
Okay.
be 10:30 Eastern time,
That's good.
10:30 in the morning for a couple hours.
That's really good. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works out good for me.
So folks can, kind of just get a little taste of the flavor, get a little momentum, get a little, a little push in the right direction. Yeah, that's what it's all about, just talking to people, making offers.
You can have
So
all the theory in the world. If you can't pick up the telephone and make a phone call, you're dead.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah, man.
that's
Can't
it.
do it, you're
Yeah.
dead. That's it. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. So yeah, getting all loaded up, ready to do that, huh, Ricky?
Yes.
That's great. Good.
But
Well, I want to
10:30,
help
yeah,
you.
that's about the time I go to work anyway, 10:30. So that'll work out great for me.
Yeah. Right. Right. That's what I think too. Yeah. Well, we want to help you in any way we can. So taking advantage of those, that's a good idea. I wish everybody did, but what is it? Like 9 out of 10 people don't really want to do anything. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You look at the stats
I
for
don't
what
know,
these
yeah.
gurus do,
Yeah.
and they tell you, well, and they don't tell you it's particularly their numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised. And it's like 97 or 98% of people buy stuff or spend the time and all that, and they never even get started. So when
Yeah.
someone tells me, there's so much competition, I don't know if I buy that. You know, there's a lot of people that like to get involved, but I don't know how much competition there really is. Who knows? I guess it changes from market to market.
I think it's more excuses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm guilty.
Well,
I've done it.
Oh,
they've
yeah.
tried something.
I'm the master of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen,
Right.
everybody. If you're a real entrepreneur, you get bored real easily. I
Oh,
get bored real
yeah.
easily. Oh, look,
Yeah.
shiny object. What?
Yeah.
You know, that's maybe I got one of the worst cases of ADD going. That's probably what it is. We probably all got a touch of it. But
Oh.
shiny object syndrome. Oh, forget it, man. I'm walking away. It's the way it is.
And I think that's one of the worst problems. So many distractions, so much stuff out there that people just jump from one to the next without even
But
really
you know
getting
what?
involved in one thing.
A lot of people just aren't satisfied with what they got going on.
Yeah.
Like we were on here a few weeks ago, and there's a fellow on here that made a nice score wholesale on a property, right? Then he tells me, I want to take this to the next level. It's the first wholesale house he's done. Not going to say no names. I says, next level. The next level is try to sell number 2, right? Before that's the next. Well, I want to scale it. Scale what? Scale 1? How can you scale it? So, you got to put your dues in. You got to do what you got to do to make it all happen. So, and God knows that there's so many. Here's another thing: information. You can turn on. My wife's got a new iPhone. iPhone, a watch. You can do podcasts on this damn thing. You can watch movies on it.
Wow.
So how much more information so quickly do you have to have, right? And some people are just glued to podcasts and entertainment, God knows whatever, all the time, you know. So it's tough to wind
get
down
bored with
or
that.
narrow it down what you want to do because someone's always got a better way to do it. And
Right.
you know, I'm going through, I get a mountain of stuff every day from the email. And of course, everybody's got a program, $19. Get started with this. Check this out. I'll spend the $19. I want to see what they have to say. I'm not spending any more than that, right? You know, then they had to double the second closing and the third closing. You want to move up to this? No, just tell me what you got. And sometimes you get something out of it, sometimes you don't. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But if the person that lives on Facebook is the one, lives on YouTube, that thinks they're going to get a career built on this is very, very sorely mistaken. So, hey, I finished that other chapter in that second book. So I got to go to a photographer, get some pictures taken, and hopefully that'll be on.
You got to go to Glamour Shots.
Yeah, really, right? Not the pictures I got here.
Get glammed up.
Yeah,
We got to glam you up. We got to put some makeup on.
The first chapter I wrote, the first book, I wrote that thing in like 3 hours. No big deal, right? It was no. The second one, forget it. It took me days to get this thing done, and I'm all over the place. So I wrote this chapter in this book just about people that want to get started and what the basic tools are for someone to kick off and get started, you know? So I hope it helps some people out, whatever. That's all good. So
are you going to share the link with us when you get it done?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, what you like on it, Steve?
I'm sorry?
I mean, how much more you like on it? The book.
How much more do I like on it?
I mean, you say you're writing one?
No, it's done. It's just, no, what happens is I write a chapter in this book, and then there's 4 or 5 other people that contribute to the book.
Okay.
And so we all got something different, and it's better off that way. This way, some people don't know how to write. They got nothing to write about but themselves. They're in love with themselves. So, next chapter, you know. so that's basically the way it works. So, but I wrote one. I did one book about 3 years ago, and I got to tell you, I raised a lot of money with that book. My big thing is private money and thinking outside the box. And when you go up to somebody that doesn't really have a lot of experience in real estate or none, and you're looking to raise capital, you just want to start a conversation and say, well, you have a business card? I don't hand them a card. I hand them a card stapled to my book. And let me tell you, stop the clock, because they go, whoa. And my picture's right on the front of this book. It's only in there for one chapter. But what I wrote in that first book was all about collateral, all about how to protect your investor, all about how to do a financial transaction where you're going to sell something and hold a note yourself. It's a great chapter. It's, most people that read the book, read my chapter, got to read it 3-4 times for it to sink in, because they only give you so much space to work with, you know. But this other one's going to be all over the place. I don't know. I couldn't wrap my head around this thing. But whatever, we'll see how it goes. So yeah,
what's the name of the book you wrote? Where's it at?
I don't even know what they're going to call this one. I don't name it. The publisher puts the name on.
I'm talking about the other one you was talking about. You said
the other one. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. It's Real Estate Rock Stars or something. I had a copy of it. I had a copy.
Write that down.
Yeah, Real Estate Rock Stars, or Rock Stars of Real Estate. It's not. You want to send you a copy?
You got to put the link in the chat here now or something.
No problem,
Coach Steve. You got to
solve. Hold on a minute. Let me.
I know I've got it. I can.
No, you know what? I'll send you a copy of it, and you send it to anybody you want.
Do that.
I can't load it on here, right? So just send me your email address. Send it to sunrisecredit@yahoo.com. And just tell me who you are, and I'll send you a copy of it, the PDF copy.
Boom. There you go. sunrisecredit@yahoo.com. Everybody.
Easy peasy.
Boom. Done. Yep. That's cool. So you've been working on that. A lot of mind power going into that. No. Just time?
No. I drove home from Florida last week. That was a trip and a half. Oh my God. I'm back in New York, so it was a trip and a half to get home. But
So
all
what
the
do you-
kids are off for spring break, and yeah, the roads were crazy. But they're
Wait,
all,
wait a
whatever.
minute. Wait a minute. You got a typewriter? Is that what you're doing? You got a typewriter and you put paper in it? And...
Typewriter. What am I, your great grandfather or something? Typewriter. What the hell is that? A typewriter.
I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
that's
figure
no,
out.
no. We bring out the rocks with the pad, and I'm sitting there with the chisel and the hammer. And I'm sitting there, right? That's why it takes me so long, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm
That's
like
it.
Moses. I'm sitting there making the
Uh-huh.
10 Commandments up.
Right.
Oh yeah, right.
That's great.
This is crazy. What are we
That's why it
doing?
takes so long. That's right.
I think what we're gonna do going forward with this bash is I'm gonna do something like a podcast. I'm gonna record something, just straight record it, and you can promote it. And if anybody has questions, they can ask, and we'll just answer it. Because I'd rather we're just Ricky. We're just spitballing here for the time being. But maybe I'll do one. I'd rather do it like a podcast. We don't have a lot of people showing up to this thing. You know, maybe we'll just do something like that. What do you think?
It's up to you, Coach Steve. Yeah, I think we got a lot of competition right now. I mean, we got Russia and Ukraine, World War III. We have the Biden administration. It creates a lot of news every day.
No
We,
reason for that.
we have. Let's see what else is going on. We have Will Smith, Chris Rock getting into
I thought that was great.
Tante. You know,
I thought that was great.
You know,
Yeah.
you thought it was great.
I thought it was great. I woke up this morning and I put the news on first thing, and I got this Chris Rock and something. So what are you? And I'm watching this guy, and Will Smith's a big dude, man. That guy's like 6'4", 6'5". And he's got big hands. Look at that guy, right? I mean, he comes walking up on the stage like very right on it. Boom, he bitch slapped the guy. But I mean, if that guy really want to hurt somebody, if he closed his fist, he would have killed that guy. So, but I thought it was great. You're gonna come out and say shit about my wife? And what are you gonna do? Wait for a commercial and start yelling at the guy? Nah, man, that guy's got guts. And he walked up there and let the guy have it. I'm all for that. What? You're not? You don't think that was right? Come on, let us have it. Come
All
on.
right,
The whole world is watching.
I think that being there, being invited to sit in the front, basically in the front row,
Yeah.
knowing that you've been nominated, that you might, and it's likely that you'll win.
Yeah.
To have your name mentioned in the opening monologue, roasting jokes, opening ha funny is almost like an honor.
But they weren't insulting him, they were insulting his wife.
And well, but she's also an actress, and her hair has been short for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, but she's got something wrong.
I mean,
physically wrong with her.
all right,
She's
but I
having a
had no
problem or
idea.
something.
I wouldn't
Me
have
either.
known.
I don't watch the damn thing.
I mean, I wouldn't have known after the slap and all that, even that. Like, so I just feel like way across the line. So
Well,
me
I'll tell
and
something,
you are
pal.
different on that side.
I'm from New York. You get up and you say something about my wife, and I'm sitting in the front row. You know what that means?
At a place where it's like it's traditional to be roasted.
You know what?
Because
That's
you're
okay.
recieving an honor.
That's okay.
That's why I just don't get it, man.
That's okay. Let these monkeys make their own problems. All right. Monkeys meaning these actors. Right? I don't care. Black, white, orange, green. Don't matter. You're gonna sit up and you're gonna say something about my wife like that. And I'm sitting in the front row. It just means I don't have to trip over anybody when I'm on my way up to the top of the list there to smack the guy. No problem.
Yeah.
Oh, I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
I was put in a
didn't watch this.
situation like that a couple of years ago.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
watch that stuff, but what triggered him because he was laughing to start with, and all of a
That's
sudden
what
he
I
just
thought.
turned.
Yeah. I didn't watch that much of it. All I heard was someone said something. The next thing I noticed that this guy's up on the stage. Boom. Nice. Listen, crack him in the head.
I'm thinking it's fake now.
Oh,
Her
when he got
reaction is
slapped?
what triggered him.
What's that?
Her reaction is what triggered him because she was offended by it. But it's
There
not
you
like it's not like her condition is cancer or anything like that. It's not
No.
terminal. Bitch ain't dying.
No.
It's like, come on, man. And plus, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, really? She's doing G.I. Jane too? And I was like, that's dope. Cause I'm thinking
I know.
kill G.I. Jane too, right?
Yeah, arguably it was a compliment.
Right. Cause I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh, she would totally kill it as G.I. Jane too.
Right.
Right. And then it all went south from there.
But the guy said something about it. I didn't hear it. The guy said something about his wife.
No, he said, you know, I'm waiting. I'm looking forward to seeing G.I. Jane too. That was the joke.
If that's all the guy said, I don't know.
That's all he said. That was the joke.
Yeah,
That was,
I don't get it, man.
And is this guy that
Yeah.
much of a hothead?
Yeah, that was the joke, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, and then he tried to blame it on being in character, you know, for playing the role of, you know, the Serena and Venus's dad in the movie and all that bullshit, you know. But then he goes up and he apologizes to everybody but Chris Rock.
Right.
I'm
I'm
like,
sorry. I'm sorry, man.
You already know I got history with him. Yeah, me and him had issues. We used to play basketball together back in the day in Toluca Lake.
Who?
You that tall?
Who?
You,
With,
you that tall?
Yeah, with Will Smith.
What?
Yeah.
Back in Philadelphia?
No, in LA. He lives in LA.
Shooting b-ball outside the school?
No, he lives in LA. We used to play basketball at this park down in Toluca Lake. Toluca Lake is a really nice area right there where NBC Studios is.
I thought you was going to tell me a couple guys who was up to no good.
Right,
Who
who was
was
up-
trouble in your neighborhood.
Now listen, Toluca Lake is where the Little Rascals used to hang out. Just remember.
Is that right? I don't even
Wow.
remember that. Yeah.
Toluca Lake.
No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
Anyways, I didn't see all I saw was what the newscast put on.
Yeah, no, that's all he said. That's all he said, bro. Now
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, somebody made a really great comment on a YouTube video, and I didn't think about it before I saw that, but he said what Will Smith did is a reflection of how everybody is feeling right now. It's a testament to, you know, our condition right now, you know, with all the lock-ins, with all of the nonsense
Wow.
going on, with all the political climate, with all of the, you know, everybody is on edge. Everybody is kind of, you know, and I was like, okay, I can see that, but he was still wrong.
Yeah.
I wish Chris Rock would have whipped his ass.
There
So
was a
we
comment-
all want to kick the shit out of the host of the show. Is that how we feel tonight, Coach Steve? You're the host.
all I heard from the media, all I saw was what I saw this morning, and this morning just showed this guy was already halfway up the steps and he was sprinting, man. He wasn't wasting no time.
Yeah.
And he was up, bang, hits the guy,
Yeah.
and turns around and walks away. I says, now I think this guy's a
Who's
pretty,
that?
I don't know. I'd say he's a pretty well-mannered guy. He's a gentleman, sort of, I would think. And if
Yeah.
he got up and he was that antagonized to get up and wail this guy, 'cause this guy's got a wise mouth, you know. So
Yeah, and he's in the
something pushed
business.
his
It's like
buttons.
it's comedy. I mean, I guess you'll never see him in a roast because he'll fucking lose his mind
Exactly.
if they ever roast him.
I don't
Exactly.
know. I don't know.
Or duct tape some boxing gloves on this dude.
Or you know, fuck, dude.
Something, right?
Well, Rock is about 2 feet shorter than him or something. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, right? Would he have done that shit if that was, you know, what's his name, Cruz, the muscular guy to be on? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Or would he have done that shit if it was The Rock? I don't think so. He did
Right.
that. He did that shit because Chris Rock is 5'11", you know, $125.
I don't know.
Not Dwayne Johnson.
I
Right.
don't know.
No,
but I still put my money on Will Smith.
Nah,
I don't
not
care.
against not
You're
against
gonna
Dwayne
say
Johnson.
something. You're gonna say something about my wife, and I don't, and she don't take it right, and it's not right. I don't care. Whatever the circumstances are.
You defended your woman, huh?
If
No.
I get my ass kicked
All right.
worse.
Do y'all think that she wanted him to go up there and do that, or was that more embarrassing to her?
Oh, they probably having great
in
sex.
the original You think so?
Oh, they probably having great sex. She
She's a
loved that
power
shit.
tripping kind of.
Oh, she probably loved that shit. He probably tossing that ass right now behind the turn on, the capping behind that
Oh,
shit.
honey,
my
I'm so
man.
proud of you. Look what you did.
Look what you did. Shit, you can hit it from the back.
But I don't think there's going to be any lawyer talk with this
He's rubbing
situation.
that thing.
So,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, she was with that whole thing.
Wow.
Mhm.
Oh.
Interesting conversation here on our Monday night.
Right, so
talk.
much, right.
Well, you
I'm-
know,
I'm sorry, I jumped all up in the shit.
Nah, it's all good. Whatever. Whatever.
this is beer with Steve. So
Hey,
that's
hey,
it.
hey, Steve,
What's up, man?
let's talk to me, man, about you know, and I know you run in circles with high rollers and shit like that. So private money is not a big deal to you. But you know, for the average guy, man, what kind of advice would you give somebody? Justin started on this conversation this morning and did a you know Justin, he always does an amazing job of
wow, thank you.
opening the conversation
you.
about
Wow.
the whole private money thing. He
Yeah.
said gave us some tools to work with. But maybe you could talk about, you know, showing up the private money side so that we go into these deals with, you know, with a little leverage when we, you know, when we doing this stuff, you know, to know
Well,
that we can.
there's really two different sides to it.
Okay, tell
The
us both
first
of them.
side is building the relationship. The second side is getting the money and making sure your deal's right.
Yeah,
Two completely different things. And if you've got the front end covered with the relationship side, they already trust you. I could
Yeah.
put people into deals, they'd be so upside down and they would never know the difference. So you don't do that. All right. You read, you know, that chapter in that first book that I wrote.
yeah,
Everyone, like we started this show here tonight. What I was talking about that book that I wrote 3 years ago, and it was what I wrote about was all about collateral and protecting your investor.
Mhm.
All right. I don't know if you ever got a copy of that. All right.
No, you want to send me one?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you one. Just send me your email address, sunrisecredit@yahoo.com. Send me your email address.
Okay.
All right, I'll fire it out to you.
Is that SUN or
Yep,
SON?
sunrisecredit@yahoo.com.
All right.
So once you've got the front end covered, and now depending on what you know, you can't. I don't raise. How can I put this? Long-term money and short-term money are two different aspects.
Uh-huh.
All right. So if you got somebody you want to raise long-term money for, you're normally looking at younger people who have investments that are tied up in IRAs, 401ks, you know, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they're looking for that long-term steady growth. All right. I don't give anybody equity. No one. I don't give anybody points.
Okay.
Everything I do is strictly interest only.
Got it.
And all my customers, all my investors, all get a check every single month early. Says it's due on the 1st of every month. They got that check in their hands by the 25th. It's not even in their hands, it's in their checking accounts. The first three payments, I handwrite checks.
Okay.
Personally, I handwrite checks.
Okay.
Thank them, little whatever. By the time I get to the 4th payment, they're usually looking to invest more money with me because they know how simple this is going to be. But I do the handwriting checks because I want them to see that they're getting that money in early. All right.
Yeah.
So now if you have different projects, it all depends on what this person's, you know, pain factor is. How much crap. If you're going to bring them into a deal and they're going to be active, I don't do that. Everything I do for my investor is 1000% passive. They don't have to remember anything.
Right.
And I'll tell you something else that's going on with me now. In the last 5-10 years, I have accounts, I have investors who, let's say, invested with me for 5 years.
Uh-huh.
I was with one last night at my daughter's baby shower, right? So I'm talking with her last night. She says, you know, that money I invested with you had to be long. It feels like it's a lot more than 5 years ago. I go, well, it was. She says, well, I go, well, you love those checks every month, don't you? She says, oh yeah. So she's one of my first investors when I put this plan together.
Uh-huh.
And I said to her, and she's a legal secretary. She knows her way around. So she's not a novice, right?
Uh-huh.
So she said to me, she said, well, what happens after the first 5 years? I go, well, what happens? You have a mortgage, right? She goes, yeah. I says, it attaches the note to the property, right? She goes, yeah. I says, how well do we know each other? Oh, very well. I don't worry about you. I said, well, you want to sit down and you want to write down, that we're going to, reaffirm this debt and go back and record it. And it's cost us all money. She says, no, I don't give a damn. I says, look, your lien is still attached to that property. Your first
Right.
mortgage. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So regardless of what we say inside this note, we can change the note. We can keep going. It's going to go on for
Yeah, because
forever.
that date determines your first position. That won't change.
Doesn't change until she releases it and pays it off.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And
I do
you,
5 years, and what I'm going to start doing after our adjustment in the market is I'm probably going to do 5 years with like after that they can call it once a year or something like that, maybe. You know?
Okay.
But right now I'm sitting on more cash than I got deals for.
Okay.
So I'm not out there looking for money right now. You know,
Are you looking
There's
for
loads of it on the
for
sideline.
deals? Are you
I'm
looking for
sorry?
deals?
No, not right now. I'm
No?
waiting to see what happens in this market.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be. I think this whole thing's going to start adjusting in the next 3 to 6 months.
When you say adjusting,
I mean, put a helmet on when you get up in the morning.
so what I mean, when you say adjusting, though, what do you expect to do? Well, first of all, I think that the value of the dollar is obviously declining,
You think?
right? There's too much money in the marketplace.
Yep.
Interest rates are bound to rise.
They said this. They said yes. Was it Saturday morning? I was watching something on online here with 3 different economists from 3 big companies, 2
Yeah.
banks and something else,
Yeah.
and they all said the same thing, that the head of the treasury was supposed to do is already announced that he's going to do 7 adjustments. I don't know how he knows that. He must be using a Ouija board or a crystal ball or something. But then he made the mistake. He made the statement, the same guy, that, well, we made a mistake. It's probably going to be 11 adjustments. Really? 11 adjustments. If he's looking at a half a point in adjustments and he makes 11 adjustments, where are we going to be at in 6 months to a year?
That's right. Yeah,
This
we're
market-
5.5.
this market's gonna fall out of bed.
We're 5.5 points above where we are now, which is about what, 3%? So we're at 8.5% based on that math, right?
Yep. And now you've got situations where people can't qualify for that house they wanted because now they got to put more money down,
Right.
right? And what's happening in the 2 markets I'm in Long Island, here in New York and down in Florida, is the property values have gone up so high, so quick, that even people who were in foreclosure can bail out. They can
Yeah.
they can really get out from under.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of people that are, no matter what you tell them, no matter what you say to them, no, I'm going to work it out with the bank. Did you see how many homes crested this month? I'm sorry, it was last month into the foreclosure cycle.
Yeah. I
Who
saw
didn't
those.
make it into forbearance? Right?
Mhm.
Wait and see what's coming. But
Yeah.
but anyway, we got off the subject of raising
money.
private capital. One of the best, you got to look and see where the majority of the people look at the deals you want to make, and then say to yourself, well, where am I going to find these long-term or short-term people?
Uh-huh.
I always go after long-term. I like long-term money. I don't do, short-term flips, or if I'm going to do that, I got the money in the bank. What I want to do is long-term. I like forever money. I like mailbox money forever. All right. So where am I going to find them? So before all this, right, I joined a fraternal organization. I'm in the Knights of Columbus.
Okay.
And I went up through all the office chairs, and
Do they let brothers in the night?
yeah.
Okay.
As long as you don't tell them, you got the big A, you remember that for a while. We don't let guns into the game here. So
Okay.
we'll just leave that between you and me. All right. So, but the thing with these fraternal organizations, it doesn't have to be the Knights of Columbus. It could be any of them, right? A lot of seniors get involved in these they didn't start off as a senior. I joined when I was 38 years old, and I didn't have gray hair, and I went up through the chairs in my council. And as you get involved and you do things and you run a couple of nonprofit events, you're raising money for children with cancer at this hospital, whatever. You're seen as being a credible person. You're seen as wanting to give back. You seem like you're one of the good guys. You know what? You might even be trustworthy.
Right.
And as you do more and more of these, and you bring them into your circle and you empower them, you help them, you bring them in and you recognize them.
Yeah.
And you want to bring them in and let them be part of your circle of influence, and they're going to help you raise money or do capital or whatever. And It makes a huge difference. That's leadership 101,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which
see
I
where you're
also
going.
teach, right? When you bring people into that circle, and say your circle of influence, your 3 or 4 main friends that you have, average them out and multiply the income out, and that's what your income is going to be. That's all bullshit. I got 3 friends, 2 of them are boozers, man. I go out at 65 years old. I want to have a good damn time. I'm not worried about hanging out with this guy because he's on the golf course and all. That's all bullshit. I don't do
Right,
that.
right,
Right. But that's just me, man. What can I tell
right.
you?
Yeah, I
Right?
hear you.
Made it, spent it. Let me, so
Yeah.
when
Can't take it with you.
I'm sorry.
Can't take it with you.
Yeah, well, enjoy it while you got it.
That's right.
So, but now when you bring those people, if you join one of these fraternal organizations and you stand up and you start volunteering and you come out of nowhere, you're going to be noticed. And the more people that, as you get the wheels turning on the carriage, you get a few months down the road, you start and you network. These places are fabulous places to network. And they're always looking for someone to sponsor something. Well, you also go into these places. The council I belong to has got one of the biggest halls around, and I can rent this thing. Matter of fact, my daughter's baby shower we had at my council yesterday. All right.
Yeah.
The place
Yeah.
holds 300 people.
Yeah.
But they also rent it out. You could do an information seminar on raising capital. You'd say, how can you can't come directly out and ask somebody to invest.
You're right.
Read between the lines when it comes to all that. Know that I can't cover everything on this, but just to raise the money. So listen, I'm doing a seminar. It's free. Come on down. I'll give you lunch, this and that. Or, you go to some other organization and you say, listen, you guys are looking for sponsors. How about I sponsor a lunch for an hour, this and that? You bring it, you hire it, you take it, they'll hire it, they'll bring the food in and all that for hire. And you just come in and speak for 20 minutes. And majority of these people, who else is going to be around in the middle of the afternoon? So you do 2 of them. You cannot ask directly for money. You can help educate them,
Right.
And so listen, you want more information? Here's my card. Give me a call. And I never, ever, even if I'm at the local RIA, I got up and I spoke there for they told me to speak for 10 minutes. I spoke for almost an hour and people wanted more information. It all had to do with seller financing and raising capital. So you go to a lot of these RIAs, the local one here, and they only want to talk about is insurance and paying your taxes. I'm like, man, why don't you get somebody up here to show me how to make some extra money? I'm not worried about my taxes and the damn insurance. I'll take care of all that. I want to make
taxes don't matter if you ain't got no money.
Yeah, so I want to make some money first. I'll worry about the rest of it. I never worried about all my life. I never worried about paying taxes. You know why? Because if I earned it, then I ain't worried about it.
Then you ain't worried about it.
Right.
Oh,
so I get up there and I spoke there and gave away some books and all that. But the key was the people are so starving. The thing is, they want to raise all this money, but they can't tell you what a deal is. They think it's a great deal. I tell them, listen, read the first chapter in his book and you're going to find out what a real deal is. Read the first chapter in his book. And you know what? A lot of what this whole business is about, trust and respect. All right. Don't bring somebody a deal if you think it's a 75 cents on a dollar deal. They're not going to have anything. They're not going to have anything to fall back on. If the market falls out of bed and they're 20%, 25% down, and they loaned you 70 cents on a dollar, you just crippled these people. I don't do that. I don't borrow more than 50, 55 cents on a dollar. I want them to have the biggest cushion in the world. And if I got to put money into the deal, that's fine. Or if I'm buying the deal right, that's fine, right? But I also borrow according to what I feel the seller financing value is of that.
okay.
Now you've done real estate. You've sold commercial properties, right?
Not a lot. I've sold it.
Okay, well, you know what the basis is. You know what the basis is.
I do know that. Yeah, I do.
A lot of commercial properties are sold accordingly to what their incomes are.
Right.
Net incomes. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
that's how they value.
Right. Now, months ago, we had Mitch Stevens on here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking the credit for this. This is a guy he's a genius.
Yeah.
Very wealthy guy. Doesn't need to be teaching anybody anything, but he does it because he likes it. Right? He likes helping people, right? When I hooked up with him, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, and he heard I was doing rentals and all that, we ran into each other. I think I was in Texas. And he says to me, "You're out of your freaking mind." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You ought to sell or finance these things." And we started talking about it. And he says, "Well, here's my program." I go, "Yeah." He says, "I'll buy a $50,000 retail type house that you would retail for 50 grand, come in and get out." I go, "Yeah." And he says, "But I'll buy it according to what its rent, whatever its rent value is." I go, "Yeah. If you can rent that house for say $700 a month."
Yeah.
All right. That's gonna have to be a lot lower. So let's say it's $100,000 house, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And you can rent that house for say $700 a month.
Right.
All right. Which is not, he'd look at that deal and says, "Nope, I don't want it."
Yeah. It doesn't even meet the 1% rule at that point.
No. He wants a 2% rule.
Right.
All right. So
Yeah.
when I go out and I look at a house, all right, and I see it's bringing in $600 a month. To me, that's $120,000 house
Yeah.
plus a down payment.
Okay.
Because his deal used to be, whatever the rent is, you got to follow it up and make sure the numbers fit together. And when I was buying properties in Alabama,
Yeah.
all right, now, and I was holding them most of the ones I've got there now, I'm collecting a mortgage. I'm collecting mortgages on now. I don't know. I mean, we start them all off as lease options, which kills him. He doesn't like that, right? Right? So I go, "I got to do that for the first year." He says, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't want to be involved with short-term capital gains."
Okay.
As I'm marking these damn things up, I'm doubling my money, at least doubling my money.
Yeah.
Right. So I says, I don't want the IRS knocking on my door. I've been down that road before doing financing. Right.
Yeah.
So he goes, "Oh, okay. So what do you do?" I said, I rented to him for a year. At least I know I own the damn house for at least a year. Right.
Yeah.
I says, "Then I'll offer to him on financing." He goes, "Oh, okay." So that's after I knew his formula. And that's the formula I use when I sell or finance. And that's a great formula to use. If you're looking at homes that are under like $125,000, $130,000, it used to be. Once you start creeping up the ladder and the asset values start to climb, all right. I mean, I charge 10.5% interest. That number gets so diluted, the customer's payment, you're going to lose whatever, your basis for when it's comparative with the rents,
Yeah.
the numbers aren't going to work out anymore.
Right.
So what I'm doing now is I'm looking for all the seller subject twos I can get my hands on.
Okay.
But I want them with low payments. I don't care how much debt's on them. Doesn't make a damn bit of difference to me. I don't care.
Right. It's payment based.
As long as this damn house is going to cash flow and the rents are way up there and I can get this house for this amount of money, I'm in.
Okay.
I did a deal in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's in the new chapter in the book that I just wrote.
Uh-huh.
And I forget the numbers on the damn thing, but the people only own the house for 28 months. He paid around $300,000 for the house. I'm getting the numbers back now. The rents in the area are around $2,500 a month. And his mortgage, taxes, insurance, all in is about just under $1,500.
Wow.
So the
$1,000
cash flow on this deal, if I just kept it as a rental, is almost $1,000 a month. But I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I'll use it as a rental. I'll do a lease option the first year. But when I offer it as a purchase, I want to hold the mortgage.
Right.
So I'm going to sell this house. All right. For I think the number was, I got people lined up for it already. I haven't closed on a damn thing yet. This one, let me think a second. I think we're selling it for $340 or $350. It's $350. No, it's $350, and I'm getting $40,000 down, and the mortgage payment with taxes and insurance at the new rate. With I could be off about $100 a month on the interest. Was equal to the same amount as what the rent is, $2,500, $2,400, whatever it was.
Okay.
So now do the math on that deal. I'm doing 8% interest on $310,000 for 30 years, right? On the back end.
Right. And your
On the
front end's
front
only
end.
still at 1,500?
Right on the front end, all my outgoings, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, if we leave it that way, is only $1,477, I believe.
See, that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
So now I've got 20. What do I got? I've got it was 30 years. So I got about 27 and a half years left on that. Plus on the back end, after I've got 2.5 years of just the straight money with having no money done. Now, if inside the book, I did a 5-year projection. Let's say this guy goes out and takes me out in 5 years.
Yeah.
And he refinances me, or he sells the house or whatever. So
Right,
I lay the
right.
numbers out inside of there, you know?
Uh-huh.
So it was interesting. So that's all in the book. Here's something else. We talk about options all the time. And I did this deal. All
Uh-huh.
right. I'm also down in Fort Myers. And I got rentals down there all over the place.
Okay.
I says, you know what? Let me get out and stretch my legs. So I get out of my car. I just come finish talking with one of my tenants. Let me take a walk down the block. Hang on a minute. Let me close this door. Hang on a minute.
All right.
Let me take a walk down the block. As I'm walking, I'm talking with some of the people that are coming out and all that. And I told Justin knows about this and the other guys that were on the other couple of weeks ago. I come across a house that's got this roof that's a mess. I mean, it's got a tarpaulin over it and it's all old. Did you hear this story already?
No.
So the tarpaulin's all shot and all that.
It's a good one.
And it's all frayed on the edges and stuff. So I said, let me stop by and talk to this guy. I walk up, knock on the door. How you doing?
There's
Good.
somebody
Just
living
not-
in that shit?
Oh, yeah. Nice house. This is in a great neighborhood.
It's just a bad roof.
The roof is shot and it almost looks like they put one tarpaulin over another one. I mean, that's
Okay.
how
So
bad
you know
it
they
is.
don't have enough money to do the repair.
Exactly. So I knock on this guy's door and I'm talking to him. See, one-on-one, beats the telephone, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to this guy, and all of a sudden I said to him, I go, I'm looking for another house in this neighborhood. This guy he looked like the devil himself, got Irish rage, blood red. Turns around and starts walking into the house. My house is not for sale. He goes, you want to do something? Fix my roof. So I looked I say, he turns around, I go, how about I pay for your roof? Can we have a conversation? Yeah, come on in. You want to pay
Right,
for
you got my
roof?
attention
Oh,
now,
yeah,
right?
come on in. Now he invites me in the house.
Mm,
I did not walk through the house.
mhm,
I walked in the front door,
mhm.
and the way the house is laid out, the dining room with the table was all the way over to the right. And I'm looking at the front as I come in the door and I'm peering. It's a ranch house with a low peak roof. And there was some damage, not damage, but you could see some stains in the ceiling. But
Yeah.
the water wasn't pouring through the roof hasn't caved in. This
Right.
isn't a neighborhood where the homes are selling for around 3.25 to about 275 to about, you can get a house in there for 450,000 right
Yeah.
now, no problem, right?
Right.
So I'm talking to this guy and I go, look, let me ask you something. I know you don't want to sell a house now. He goes, no, I can't sell it now. I said, why can't
Yeah.
you sell it now? So he tells me he's got a daughter in high school. And he says, and their intentions are to sell it when she gets out of high school.
Right.
Right. Because they're leaving the area, him and his wife. And I get the feeling his wife's health wasn't all that great.
Yeah.
She wasn't standing there, but she was there at the house. So I said, all right. So make a long story short, I agree to do his roof. So
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you what, I'll put a roof on your house. I says, but I want a right to buy your house for a predetermined price. And we're going to put that in the agreement. So I put down, I had originally said $8,000 to do the roof, right?
Yeah.
I got a guy to do the roof for $6,000,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
now my deal just shrunk to $6,000,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's my offer. Here's my deal. The guy says, I go, well, what would you want for the house? He goes, well, when you want to buy it? I says, well, you said 2 years, your daughter's going to be out of high school. He goes, yeah. And so how about we say 3 years from now, I got a right to buy it and give me another 4 years to execute on it. He says, I don't give a damn. He goes, so if you don't buy it, you don't buy it. If you do buy it, whatever, I don't care. Well, just give me a price. What do you think it's worth? He goes, well, if you help us out and you find somebody to do this roof, and you can take care of all that, or I'll find somebody. He goes, houses around here are selling for around 275. He says that needs some work. He says, I'll take the 275 for it. Just leave it like that. Now he understood what an option was. This guy was a real estate agent years back, so you knew what options were and everything else.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I said, so you're going to give me an option to buy this house for 275,000. I says, and it's my option starts in 3 years from now. He goes, yeah. I says, and it goes out for 4 years. I think it started in 4 years, and it was for 4 years, whatever it was that we worked out. It doesn't matter, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now $6,000, I am so far ahead of the game. So 275,000, we're going to put a roof on the house, which automatically moves the price of the house up, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So now inside the book, I put a spreadsheet there with compound numbers as your house appreciates. Now, when people figure, oh, my house is only going to go up 5% a year, so 5 years, that's $25,000. No, it's not the way it works.
Right.
All right. So when you sit down with a calculator, you say, well, it's going to go up let's say it only goes up 5% a year. So we're going to add 200. We're going to take 275 at this number, multiply it by 5%, gives us this number.
Yeah. It's
Now we're
compound
gonna
as
take
opposed to
that
simple.
number and multiply that by 5%.
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
It's compound interest or
When
compound
you look at what
appreciation.
this thing is worth, what my return on investment can be, it's great. It's crazy for tying up
Yeah.
$6,000, right?
Right. Yeah.
So now I have options with this, right?
Mhm.
I got a guy from the local RIA that says if I make this deal, he wants it. Just like that. I never met the guy,
Right.
but I was talking to somebody, I didn't like, you talk about networking, right? I
Yeah.
went to their lunch that they have down over there at this particular RIA. And this guy wasn't there, but he heard from somebody else what I got. He has properties in that area. He wants to buy the assignment. He wants to buy the assignment once I get it all locked up, right?
Yeah.
Well, so I could look at the options. I got to understand what I could do with it. I could sell it. I could hold on to it, make it a rental. I got to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
But what my option is still 275, and I could wait until 7-8 years from now to buy it.
Yeah.
So then I got the spread.
Yeah.
So I'm not the genius on this thing. I didn't create this. All right. And the fellow that was talking about this, who just really, really stuck in my mind, was a fellow by the name of Fortunato. Look him up. He's out of
I've heard
Tampa.
that. I've heard that name before.
Oh yeah. Justin, what's his first name? You looked him up.
Peter.
Peter Fortunato. He just spoke at a RIA group out in California. He's got a lot of stuff on YouTube and all that. Look this guy up. This guy is a real deal maker.
Okay.
Across the United States, I think he's the number one guy.
All right.
Talk about a guy that makes chicken soup out of chicken shit. There you go.
So you would recommend, besides obviously reading your book, which I sent you your email already, so I'll
Good.
be looking for a reply. So
Like
obviously
the way you said that, I've been looking for a reply. Yeah. Go ahead.
Mitch Stephen, obviously, because his book is amazing, and then
Yep.
this Peter Fortunato.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, Peter doesn't talk about private money.
No,
Mitch Stevens
he's talking about
catches-
creative financing, right?
Mitch teaches a course on private money. Very, very good course. And he's probably got a book out about it, whatever. He's got books
Yeah.
out about everything.
Yeah.
Look at his book. All right. He's
Uh-huh.
great about that. And the chapter in the book I'm going to send you, well, I'm going to send you the whole book.
Uh-huh.
You and Ricky is going to be all about collateral and seller financing and that kind of thing,
Okay.
and raising capital.
Okay. Yeah, he spoke with the Norris Group. Those guys are pretty tight.
Who's that?
Peter Fortunato.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jason Richter. sunrisecredit@yahoo.com is my email. sunrisecredit@yahoo.com.
Yeah.
Just sent
Anyway,
you an email. Because I
Sorry?
want to do, I just sent an email for your book.
good. I'll be looking for you. You'll be getting it tonight. As soon as I
Okay.
have my dinner, I'll send it out there.
Yeah, I'm interested in your own financing because I do it a different way, more like the bank. And I want to compare to how you do in yours. It's just
I want to talk about what you do then. You're next up. Let me finish with the preacher man here first.
Okay.
So where did he go?
So somebody,
All right.
somebody mentioned the other day, he said, you remind me of a preacher, and I thought of you immediately.
Oh, you got you. You know what?
Immediately.
When you stand up and you speak from authority,
Yeah,
and you're speaking, you know what? You got your shit together, you know, and you know what you're doing, and nobody's gonna back you up against the wall and say, oh, you're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. When someone says it to me, I slap my hands together, go, this is gonna be fun.
yeah, me too. I'm like,
This is
okay,
gonna
cool,
be
let's
fun.
go.
You know, I don't open my
Let's
mouth
go.
unless I usually know what I'm talking about. So,
Right. Yeah. And
You
if
know?
you don't know what you're talking about, then you know you play that correctly as well.
or I'll just concede and say, you know what?
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, the big
Yeah.
boy in the room is the most honest guy in the room. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just
anyway, so what
don't
else there,
lie.
Victor? What else, bro? How much money you got to raise?
Well, I actually have been raising some money. I got about a couple, maybe about $300,000 right now that I can, jump into right now. I'm using some of it for earnest money. I'm doing some deals with my guy. He's basically fronting all the money. I'm doing a bunch of unmarket deals right now. And I'm doing my special needs housing program, and that's going fantastic. So, we're on track. We're
Are you
moving forward.
recording first mortgages on these houses when you do this?
Yes.
All right. Always make sure it gets recorded.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
Send
yeah.
your investor a copy of it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. I was a mortgage guy,
Yeah.
so I know that part of the game.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's
Mhm.
good. That's
Yeah.
really good. Always
Yeah.
protect your investor.
Yeah,
So-
protect the investor. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Because
good.
my investors are real savvy. One of my investors is a guy who, has significant holdings in Los Angeles, and he's very aware of the fact that right now his money is losing value. So he's moving a lot of it into the Midwest area where I am, planting a bunch of seeds and extracting some value. So he's seeing returns that he will never see on the West Coast or anywhere in that area. So he's happy right now.
Are you giving him equity?
No equity.
So he's not getting a piece of the action. He's just getting straight rent.
He's getting
straight
yeah.
interest.
I will give him equity though, but I haven't found a property that really warrants it yet. We're going to start moving into some multifamily, but I haven't knocked one down yet. When we move into the multifamily, I will give him equity at that point.
So of all your investors that you got active dollars out on, when you have their money locked up, when I say locked up, you're not taking it personally. You're going through a law firm, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No money comes into my pocket. I'm not trying to take that.
You're doing it all the right way. You're okay.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
No, I'm not trying to take responsibility for that money, because if things go bad, I have integrity and shit, but at the same time, it's like I need the legal protection. So I actually went through the guys over at Anderson Consulting, and they built me a whole structure about how to do it. I got my corporations all in a particular tree that protects me. I get paid out of the corporation so that I can actually qualify myself down the road for some good stuff. I have good credit, all that. So it's kind of a structure that's
What'd they charge you to put that together?
I pay for an annual thing, and I pay like $1,600 for the year, but they do my taxes and the whole nine, bro. They do the whole structure.
That is so cheap.
Right? That is like the dopest shit I've ever seen.
Cheap.
Right?
I don't know where they getting these kids. They got kids in high school doing this, or they?
Oh
really...
no, they're really good. You can look them up on YouTube. It's Anderson Consulting Group.
Everybody here should write that down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, write it down. Write it down.
Yeah,
they're super dope. They have a one package that they call the platinum package, and they do your consulting. They'll set up your corporations. You have to obviously pay all the costs of the corporation, the fees, and all that.
What they're charging you for is time.
Yeah, all they're charging for is time, but they do it on volume, so they're able to pass the savings on to you, because it's all template to them now. They've been doing this shit for years. It's nothing is new to them.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. All right, brother. We did it. We answer your question.
Yes, sir. You always do, man. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with you because I got some other things that I really want to speak with you about. You probably the guy to talk to.
How'd you do with that self-storage place?
I'm still working on it, but I do have some people that are looking to come over, but they're not going to come over until next month, actually, until late April.
Are you looking to develop it yourself or just develop the plan, do it a whole package and sell it off?
I would like to have it actually provide me with my income. I don't have any retirement. I've never worked for anybody. I've been a solopreneur for years.
So why don't you think about doing this? If you took this whole package and you sold it
Yeah.
and cut yourself in for 10% or 15% of the net.
Yeah, see, that would solve my problem because that would remove me from any day-to-day or management activity and just give me a check. So when I'm in Portugal sipping wine, I can just cash the check.
That's what I do. That's one of the things that I do.
Okay. All right.
So you don't have to, I don't need all your money up front. As a matter of fact, how much, listen, what are you working with? Oh, you want $400,000 for this thing. All I got is $2. So I'll tell you what, how about I take you $2 and I'm your partner for 51%.
See?
Ooh.
Yeah, see,
Know what I mean?
now you singing my song.
Well, you got to get people that really know what the hell they're doing. Not some rich kid
That
that's
part.
just blowing daddy's money, if you would,
Right.
you really want to make it successful. And I've been with them also.
Yeah.
Greed is a terrible, when your greed gland starts jumping over here, you got to be careful. So, especially when you haven't talked to anybody in 2 weeks on this project, you go, oh shit, I got this one guy. I better reel this guy in.
Yeah.
Big mistake. Big mistake. All right, man. Let's talk soon, huh?
For sure. For sure.
All right. Now, Ricky, what do
Yes,
you
sir.
do, man? You say you're working as a bank? Your plan?
No, I'm got properties and I'm trying to sell off some and owner finance. And I'm just getting tired of the rental business.
What state are you in?
Georgia.
Georgia. You're in a
Yep.
great state.
Yep.
You're in a great state.
But I was listening to you a while back on how you owner finance yours, which you base it off the rent, which I kind of do like the bank. So I got $125,000 property. I'm looking to get 10 to 20% down. I go to my amortization sheet schedule on my computer, and I figure out payments based on an interest rate. And it's a lot
I
more
figure
than-
them on an interest rate also. But when you're seller financing, you're offering something that nobody else around, for the most part, that understands the game can do.
right.
So why shouldn't you get a premium for doing that? I don't want to be just a bank collecting interest. I don't have the marble the big golden chandeliers and the marble walls and the pens chained to the tables. All right. And the
Mhm.
vault door open. That's not me. So I'm looking at how can I maximize my return on this investment? So if you got, how much you got tied up in these hundreds? So you say you got a house that's worth 125,000 retail, right?
Yeah.
What does it rent for?
Right at 1,000. Well, I was renting for $950. I just kicked the tenant out probably about a month or so ago, and we're doing some work, and I'm fit to put it back on the market.
Okay, so the rent's a $950 there. All
Which
right.
that was low. I'm always a little bit lower than
Well, I'm sorry, you're a little bit lower than what it normally are.
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So let's even at, and what you say, most of the stuff in the neighborhoods are only selling for like 100 a quarter, 135.
Yep.
Well, then I'd probably push this one up, and I'd say you can't go crazy. All right, and I don't know if you'd sell this on a the method you how you pay for this thing. All right, there's the couple that I've done in Georgia. I've done with land contracts. All right, where I boosted them. I bought them under subject twos, and we
Mhm.
turned around. I buy accepting that and then selling a contract. How you structure your documents, I don't want to tell you. However, finance wise, if you got if the rents in the neighborhood are picking even round 1,000, all right, and the homes in the neighborhood are selling for around 125, 130, that to me is at least $150,000 house. at least 150, and you're not advertising the price. You're going to advertise the house when you decide that you got the house at this particular area, and it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath with the white picket fence in the garage on a 1/4 acre of property, and you're willing to sell or finance this property with a significant down payment to a qualifying family. Now, I'm not the guy that designed that. That's Eddie Speed, but that's the motto. That's the model that he uses. I'm willing to sell or finance this property with a significant down payment to a qualifying family. Now, what did I just say? Significant down payment can mean anything. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And a qualifying family, you just told the world, I don't want a bunch of kids living in this house. You know, it's not going to be Animal House. And I don't even bother wasting my time. But you'll find out when you do that, you'll still get people calling that want to rent the house from you. That's the way it goes, right? Now, they got no money, and that's okay, right? But I've got one right now. Right now, I just foreclosed on. The house is being cleaned up. It'll be ready in about 2 weeks. And I got to run some advertising on it on Facebook. When I did this on one of my homes down in Florida, I got over 1,600 leads. 1,600 leads inside of 10, 12 days. Insane. And I should have set that up somehow. I'm not the tech wizard, but I wanted people to fill out not an application, but like a 6 or 7 questionnaire. So I could sift through people and see what was worth even contacting back and who wasn't. And some buyers are liars, they tell you stories, the way it goes. But in your situation, that's gold. What do you got in these? What do you got in that $125,000
I've had this house
house?
for a while. I think I owe about 12,000 on it. I've had it for a long time.
12 grand.
Yeah.
Want to double your money?
What do you mean?
Well, I'll double your money. I'll write you a check now. No, I'm just relax.
I don't. You probably couldn't give me what I wanted.
No, I don't think so. That's cool. But that's what I would do with them. When you own, now your customer on this property that's going to buy it is not going for an appraisal. They're not going to have to worry about qualifying for FHA. All right. You want a customer whose credit's not the best in the world. Because the longer this contract goes out, if you're like me, the longer the contract goes out, the more money you make.
But that was my next question. What is your term on that? Surely not 30 years. I mean, if you
30 years.
How many?
30 years.
Really?
I write some of them for 40 years.
Damn.
But the
I mean,
difference
even though you're
between
pacing it
30
on-
and 40 years is you're just ripping the person off. I don't want to do that.
Exactly. I'm trying to be fair, but even though you're basing it on rent and not a mortgage payment, you're still going 30 years.
You can decide what you want. You want more principal or you want more interest. I can reduce the price I can drop the price of this house down to $99,000, but it's 15.5% interest.
Right. Well, see, I've done a lot of that on mobile homes, smaller properties.
Same
but not
thing,
no-
man. It's the same thing. Money's money.
Yeah. Well, it's just
Same
a
thing.
different clientele, I guess. To me, it is.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but you're not going to be dealing with that different a clientele. You're going to get a guy in there that's a contractor. You're going to get somebody in there that's not a citizen. That's that is working someone on the book somewhere. You got to be verified somehow or whatever. All right. But that's who a lot of these people out there, and a lot of people right now are looking for that deal.
Oh, yeah.
They can't qualify with the bank, but they got oodles of cash.
Exactly.
So I'm not telling, the home is available with seller financing for someone with a significant down payment to a qualifying family, whatever, right? So you do this and you're going to get phone calls. Well, what's a significant down payment? So you say to them, well, significant down payment to me is 50% down. What are you working with? I never tell them what they need.
Right.
You never tell them what they need. And if they do, and if someone says to me, well, I got $7,000, I said, $7,000 up to what? And don't say another word. All of a sudden, they'll automatically bump themselves. That's something from the auto finance business of mine. So up to what? And shut your mouth. And all of a sudden, well, I can put together 10. All right, now you just got 10 grand. You didn't try very hard. All you did was ask a question. You know? So they're never going to tell you all the money that they got. Or they're going to lie through their teeth, thinking they're going to borrow money from their mom or their dad or their cousin or my in-laws or whatever. It's going to be one side or the other. That's
Right.
it. You know,
Right.
so, but you'll get that person, that 1 in 30 or 1 in 50, or maybe less than that now, who can qualify with your financing. You don't want them to qualify for the bank. I don't give a damn what the house appraises for. And I don't give a damn about real estate agents. You're going to sell this on your own. You don't need anybody like that
Oh, exactly.
because you're the bank.
Yep.
You don't want to buy it. These are my terms. You don't want to buy it. Next. Oh, God, how can you ask 10.5% interest? Those are the rules. You don't want it? Go buy. Well, I can get money for 4%. So what are you calling me for?
Exactly. But you never
What are you
mentioned
calling
the
me
price
for?
on the house.
What's that?
You never mentioned the price on the house. You just mentioned in down payment and
You
monthly
know
payment.
something? You know something? I was in automobile financing for 40 years. All right. And all the years that we had it, there were a handful of things that my customer was worried about. All right. How soon could they get the car? What's my payment going to be? Because we were doing weekly payments back then. How soon can I drive? Right. And am I going to look good in this car? Nobody asked you anything having to do with the price of the car. You could sell a car for them for $6,000. You could sell a car to them for $16,000. Didn't matter. And a lot of these people will sign anything. That's not your buyer. Your buyer is somebody who's really broken their ass and saved that down payment because you want them to have skin in the game. You know, when I first started doing home finance, and one of the things Mitch said to me was when he interviews people for the mortgages, the financing, and he says, well, somebody comes in the door and they get money from a lawsuit, or they're borrowing money from my grandfather's inheritance and this and that. That's not the guy you want. You want the person that's going to work their ass off and they got skin in the game. You know, something else you'll find a lot of, all right, is and I hate to say this, but the Spanish families come in the doorway and they come in the door with cash, literally.
Yes.
And if they really, really want to buy this, all of a sudden they'll chip in. You put two families' monies together, and Joe's and their cousin or their in-laws or whatever, and they'll farm the money together and put it together. You might have too many people living in a house. I don't know, but every one of those are different. But the American dream is to own a house, even still.
And I just done a small 2-bedroom like that. They pulled their money together and they bought it. Hell, cash. I'm talking about cash.
I don't
Not
want to
a
sell
check, but
anything for
cash.
cash.
Yep.
I sold a house last year for cash. I put it up for sale in April. I can't buy that same house for $100,000 more. I am so pissed I sold this house. It was a problem house, but you know what? The problems weren't anywhere near as to the cash flow that I'm losing on this damn house.
Right.
And I thought I'd go and I do a swap, a tax swap, or is it 1090, whatever it is. I've never done one. I did one years ago, but whatever. I figured out I'll put this money, I put the equity into another place. I couldn't find something to put it into.
Yeah.
So
And I guess I'm getting older, so I'm trying to simplify my life from this point on.
I bet I'm older than you.
Oh, I'm 61. I'll be
I'm
62 this year.
65. At this stage in my game, all I don't need blankets. I don't need buckets full of cash. I like them, but on a monthly basis, I like long-term cash flow. Because
Right.
when I'm 75 or 80, or I kick the bucket before that, I've got a stream of income coming in the doorway that my family can use.
Right.
If you sit down and you turn 100 houses over to your family and say, okay, there you go, have a good time, they're going to inherit a nightmare.
They're going to sell them so fast.
Well, yeah, they probably will. But if you sell them, it's the same thing my investors tell me. So what happens? What's going on if something happens to you? I go, you know what? I hate to say this, but go down, say a novena every Sunday at church and pray that I drop dead. Really? I go, yeah, because look, no, I could have my wife could write you a check and take you out, pay you off your mortgage. Let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say, just keep the damn house. Because in my mortgage estate, I mean, you're going to get one of two things. Either you're going to get paid or you're going to get the house. So let's say let's say we don't do what we're supposed to do on our end, and you get this $100,000 house for the $50,000 you put up. Who's in good shape? Well, what do I do then? I says, you go to the local REIA, you stand up and you say, listen, I got a house from Driscoll. It's $100,000 house, and he owes me 50 grand. You're gonna get stampeded. Oh, I'm gonna go outside, and all of a sudden he's gonna be a stampede. Really? I go, yeah. So this one guy didn't believe me. All right. So he did all his homework. He called some REIA place. He called some meetings, talked to some presidents of 2 REIAs. And I got a phone call from them, one of them. Says, you know this guy? I says, yeah, I talked to him. This guy's asking all kinds of questions about you. But I wonder about the one thing. Are you feeling all right? Are you okay? Yeah, why? He's asking about questions if you died. So I said, no. I'm fine. But it's in the people's head. A lot of times when you loan money, Victor, a lot of times when you take money from someone, their first worry is, are they going to get their money back?
Yeah.
And if you got that big enough spread, over and above, you don't have to worry about it. Ricky, you got all these homes, you got no real basis in. So if you just sell these for cash, you're going to get killed with the IRS.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
why do that? If you sell them on finance, all you got is that small little percentage to pay every single month. It ain't going to cripple you.
Right.
Meantime, you got that heavy cash flow coming in the doorway.
Yep.
I'd much rather have that. What about you?
Yeah, well, I did want a little cash, so that's why I sold a few for cash.
Well,
And now, like you said, I'm sick of rentals. I've been in the business long enough, and owner financing is the way to go for me from this point on.
you either do that or you sell it all out in one shot to a portfolio guy. I buy properties in bulk. I'm not pushing you. I got an offer in on a bunch of properties I've got in Florida while I was down there. I just came back last week while I was down there. And these guys are creating their own markets. It's crazy what these guys are doing across the country. Absolutely crazy. They'll buy, he told me, he says to me, he goes, they'll go into a development and they'll buy 10 houses, 15 houses that really, really, really need a lot of work or whatever it is. They'll buy them down, they'll put their contractors in, go through them and clean them all up, make them resaleable, but they won't sell them yet. Then they go back into the market in that same development and they'll pay top dollar for another 5 houses. Top dollar, right? They'll clean those up and they put everything up for sale. So what did they just do with the last 5 houses they bought?
They created the market.
They just set the market,
Mhm.
right? And they're doing this. This guy says, check me out. He gives me the initials of this LLC that he's buying for. I went on PropStream and they got 35,000 houses in this thing.
Damn.
And that's only one, it's like one department inside this hedge fund. So God knows how many houses they've got, right? And that's what they're doing all over the country. They create their own markets. That's crazy. They're doing it now down in Southwest Florida. And they clean the houses up.
Driving the market out of control.
Well, this one group is driving. They want to try and push the rents up another like 20-25%. So they got all these houses that they're buying, and they're nice houses. I mean, when they get done, you look at the pictures of them; they're nice. But he said to me their guy doesn't rent these out. He just takes them and flips them. He was working for another guy that did rentals, another hedge fund, right? What they do is they'll clean the house up, they'll make it real nice, and they'll stick it on the market for a minimum of, what do you say, 45 days. He says, and then they start shooting different pictures of it on the internet, and they get people salivate, and that's when they get the guy and they lock him in. That's nuts, man. That's just, I don't know.
Wow.
Just bad news, but we are here.
Yeah.
So anyways,
that's where we are.
Yes, brother. So, Ricky, what else, man?
That's it.
Take a nice interest rate for a nice return.
Sir?
Sit down with a finance calculator and punch in a return on, let's say you got a 10% interest on a 30-year deal. The longer you go out in the contract, of course, the cheaper the customer's payment's going to be. Don't worry if it's 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, or 100 years. Your customer's worried about what their payment's going to be. What can they lock it up at? And you tell them the only thing that's going to change on this deal is if the insurance goes up or the taxes go up. So what I started doing about 2 years ago was I'll sell them the house on paper. I'm sorry. I'll explain the transaction to them on paper. Then I say, of course, you have to add taxes and insurance. Oh, so now my number that I'm explaining to them is not going to change. And by the way, the majority of the time, I get 4 points to close.
Ah.
Since I'm loaning the money out anyways.
Do you
All right.
do, when you sell here?
You get 4.
Four
You do
points.
it like on a contract for deed, or is it like a mortgage? I mean,
I do those. Well, the majority of the ones that I'm holding right now are in Alabama, and they're all on mortgages and notes.
okay.
Yep. But I get 4 points to close because I'm paying for the residential loan mortgage originator and all. And I might have to front some money for them to get all the insurance paid for the first year. I'm doing all this and that. So we might up making about a point and a half on it. But I'm also, when I add that to the contract and I put 30-year financing on it, you know what that number is? It's pretty wild. Put it in the
Yeah,
calculator.
by the
find out.
time it accumulates interest over a 30-year period, right?
Yep.
Because you're putting on the front end and you're financing it for 30.
Yep.
You a pimp.
It's just money. Listen, that's what all the banks are doing.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's what
You
they're
know?
doing.
I was
Be the bank,
I was down at a real estate seminar at where the hell was that? I was in Florida. I was with the Ionatis, right?
Mhm.
And there was a guy standing there who was from Texas. And he goes, well, I do these contracts. And I'm trying to figure a way to try and get some more cash flow together. And I'm doing 30-year deals. And I don't know what else to do. Is I don't want to raise the interest rate. I said, so long length in the term. He said, what do you mean? I said, you do 30-year deals, right? He goes, yeah, I go do 40. What? I said, do 40, do the numbers. The difference between a 30-year mortgage and a 40-year mortgage is not all that different. I know a guy
You mean in terms of monthly payment?
I know a guy in Pensacola, Florida, that he does mobile homes, and he says, and they're on property, and every deal he writes is 40 years, and nobody asks a question, nobody knows the difference, but he knows he's got 40 years worth on paper of income coming in the doorway. He also knows that his average deal goes kaput or whatever in 7 years.
Right.
So he's riding the wave. He just says, you know what? They're going to owe me more money in 7 years if I do a 30 or a 40. So I do a 40, they owe me more.
Yeah,
So at least I got more to write off, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Me being
That's the
a
national average, about 7 years, right? Before they refi out of it anyway, right?
Well, I've got the most of the stuff that I'm doing right now that I'm sitting on
Mhm,
is approaching that 7-8 year number
mhm.
that I did in Alabama. And they're all going strong. I got one house in foreclosure. I finally got one house back. It was a lease option. I didn't repossess that before, by the way. It was a lease option, and people just finally got out.
Yeah,
But I got one right now in foreclosure, and it's a mobile home on 7 acres of property. But this guy's been sending money in all of a sudden. He sent in like $6,000 or $8,000. So he'll probably wind up redeeming this thing. So, but that's okay.
yeah.
Sooner or later, this is twice in 2 years. He's bailed. He's had a problem. So I'm waiting for the next time. And it's a terrible thing when you got to take one of these houses back. You got to collect the down payment all over again.
Yeah.
You got to, and the house probably went up 10, 15% in value.
Yeah, man.
You got to take the time to write out that new installment
Shit.
contract.
Don't you just hate when that happens?
It's a bitch, man. I'm telling
Yeah, I
you, it's
know.
a bitch. I don't know how people do it.
It is.
It's a bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, guys, I am getting ready to hit the gym.
well, I am not hitting any gym tonight. I'm going to go have my dinner. I'm going to stretch out and relax. So,
All right.
that's the deal. But good talking with you, Victor and Ricky.
Likewise.
And it's always good. And keep smiling. I guess we lost Mr. Justin.
Yeah, he must have went to dinner his damn self.
So all we do is hit the word end, and I think we're all finished.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Hey, good to
Gents.
see you again, Ricky.
Yep.
Have a good night, guys. You take care.
All right. All right,
Make
Jason.
money. Bye. I'm
Bye-bye.
going to send you those books.
All right.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks.